if it's getting to that point where even the victim demand the release and justice and are criticizing the redaction of all the files and like those 6 documents being just mysteriously disappeared from the DOJ website. You gotta ask yourself, bro. There's no way this stuff is getting out of hands. And I just did a last video about Russia, about Putin, and I saw in the comments a lot of people like disagreeing with Putin's statement. And now we're back to the West, I guess. I still love it. I love the West, but that politic shit show is getting out of hand. It's you can't blame Russia for everything, and you can't blame Russia for that one. That was Israel planning a backup plan for the American politics to keep them in line. I said it. I'm not going near a window, buildings, or bridges, or trains. Nah. But it's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand, and I'm so hyped. Like it's like a season finale which hasn't come out yet. With a lot of respect to the victims, of course. I'm not. I mean, like that's some horrible stuff, bro. In my opinion, unaliving somebody is less worse than taking advantage of a woman. That stuff is just like, nah, bro. It's getting out of hand. So I'm gonna keep the video short. I'm not gonna pause that much because I want to hear what the victims and the families has to say. Because they always said like, yeah, we're redacting because of the victims and blah blah blah, and they criticizing it now. It can't get better than that. It just can't.
To the case. Many say they feel let down by the partial release of thousands of heavily redacted files. The US Department of Justice, which released the trove, said the omissions were required to protect victims and for continuing investigations. Well, a number of famous faces have appeared in the latest tranche of images, including Michael Jackson, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, and Bill Clinton. Being named or
So
pictured
cool.
in the files is not an indication of any wrongdoing. Sean Dilley reports.
Once
It's not. What did he
Is
say?
not an indication of any wrongdoing.
It's not an indication of any wrongdoing. He's right, but it looks fucking bad. It looks so bad on Bill Clinton. That boy is cooked. Like the way he smiles in a pool, like laying all back, getting his jolly sucked. Oh boy.
Sean Dilley reports.
Once among the most confidential documents kept under lock and key by the US government, some but far from all of the Epstein files have landed. Among them, this picture appearing to show the former President Bill Clinton next to Ghislaine Maxwell, who's serving a 20-year sentence for sex trafficking. And here Mr. Clinton appears to be relaxing in a hot tub. We don't know who this person is. Another appears to show Mr. Clinton posing with Mick Jagger. A spokesperson for Mr. Clinton said the former president
I really want to know what's going through his mind right now. That's something I really want to know.
did nothing wrong, and he cut Epstein off before his crimes came to light. This image appears to show the former Prince Andrew lying across 5 unidentified people. Michael Jackson showed the former Prince Andrew lying across 5 unidentified people. Michael Jackson and the former British ambassador to Washington, Peter Mandelson, also appear to be included. Lord Mandelson has previously said he regrets his former relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Previously said he regrets his former
Of course you're saying that now. Of course you're saying that now. Oh, bro.
relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. President Trump
They're not friends. They hardly know each other. Keep that in mind, right?
hasn't yet featured prominently, despite previous releases by Democrat opponents appearing to show him by Jeffrey Epstein's side. The president has always denied doing anything wrong, and there is no indication of wrongdoing by anyone named or pictured in the Epstein.
Don't forget, they investigated himself. The government investigated itself and found out there was no wrongdoing. That's basically it. And we believe it.
Files.
The yeas are 427, the nays are 1.
This was the moment lawmakers voted for the Epstein Files Transparency Act. It gave the US Department of Justice until midnight last night to
Who's that one guy?
publish most
Bro, who's that one guy? I mean, dude.
of the files they held on Epstein. The law did allow the government to withhold or redact files relating to ongoing investigations and those showing abuse or identifying victims. But at the 11th hour, the DOJ said the number of documents meant the disclosure would be incomplete. That has led survivors to call for more transparency.
It's been so nerve-wracking.
That's why I always said, like, we need protests. Thanks to the people who are doing that. Thanks for standing up for what's right and wrong.
I think all of us are full of anxiety at this point, and you know that now that the files are released, we feel that it is, and
she's a Jeffrey Epstein survivor, bro. May God bless her, bro. What the hell? Yeah, they coming live on camera. I didn't expect it, honestly. I thought, like, there was maybe some posts online.
know that now that the files are released, we feel that it is a lot of files that don't have much information in them. So we're trying to figure out, you know, what is going on here, what kind of redactions were made.
The Department of Justice says it hasn't redacted the names of politicians or individuals who are not victims. They say they've identified 1,200 survivors or relatives, and their lawyers are looking at unpublished materials to decide what more can be released in the coming days and weeks. For now, though, more accusations by politicians and survivors of a high-level cover-up and new calls for transparency. Sean Dilley, BBC News in Washington.
And I spoke to criminal barrister Andrew Taylor.
Well, I think this is very much the hors d'oeuvre. It's not the main course, because as we well know, there have been many, many redactions and many files that have not been released. The justification for that at the moment seems to be that any file that might identify a victim or survivor or might perhaps interrupt the investigation into criminal behaviour is being withheld, and there is justification for that. I think the difficulty is going to be that many of these people, 1,200 or so survivors, are going to say, well, we are not satisfied at the moment with the amount of redactions, and some of these images tell us nothing, some of the scripts of things that we see.
I mean, like, that's basically like farting in our face and saying it's windy. I mean, like, look what they're doing. They think they think we dumb. That's can't tell me otherwise, man. Oh man, that stuff is gonna explode, like real crazy.
Tell us nothing at all. I think this begs a big question, and it begs a question of prosecutors both in America, in this country, and indeed in other jurisdictions. There must now, I think, in America, be a political will, presumably from the Democrats, to have a team of special counsel or people go through these documents to say, well, OK, if there's an ongoing investigation, you should not interfere with that investigation or put it at risk by making these redactions and withholding certain files. But many might say, well, that is OK if there's an ongoing investigation, but if there's not, why redact and why keep from the public? The spirit
well, just to jump in there a moment, because we have heard from the Democrats already, some saying actually that they think that the Department of Justice here may have failed in its obligations that were...
Sorry, getting distracted by Paul's knockout. Oh my boy.
It was put under by the act that was passed by Congress and signed by Donald Trump into transparency. The fact they just haven't released enough by that deadline. Do you think there's merit there?
Well, there is. And I think it begs the question, who is policing the police in that regard? Because, of course, the Democrats are saying, is there a political cover-up? Is there somebody or some body of opinion who are saying, well, this could be very embarrassing? We must stress, of course, that being mentioned or being pictured in these images does not imply any wrongdoing. But going beyond that, many people are going to say, why is it that prosecutors have taken so long? Why have so few people been prosecuted, either in America or other jurisdictions? And many people will say, this Transparency Act is far from transparent. The spirit of the act has not been put into effect. And that's going to be, I think, a problem for the American government.
Biggest problem. Yeah. Come back from that. I mean, like you can, but then just release it now, immediately.
For weeks, months, and even years to come.
Okay.
I would be frankly surprised if there were not prosecutions that followed from the release of what will eventually be material under the Transparency Act.
Okay, that's what I wanted to get on to. But the point of here of the survivors, of course, would be looking potentially for future cases to come out of this. Is that really likely now, given what has been redacted, given what hasn't come out? And what kind of time frame are we talking if the information that many survivors would have wanted simply isn't out there?
Well, it's an old expression, but justice delayed is very often justice denied. And many of these survivors, we all know that some of them are sadly dead. Some of them might say, well, I have very poor memory of some of the things that happened. It might therefore interrupt or it might interfere with the trial of some of these perpetrators. But I think the fact that there are so many redactions and the fact that the justification for withholding so much material is, well, there's an ongoing criminal investigation, to release it would endanger
Absolute shit show. Sorry, boys.
that investigation, points very strongly, in my opinion, to there being an investigation that will lead to prosecutions.
Absolute shit show. Someone should drop the files of WikiLeaks. Released files with so much redaction is not released files at all. I agree. I agree, boys. Oh, let's see how that turns out. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I am out for now.